In this video, I want to go through how you can start and scale a brand new SMMA agency in 2025 and how you can do this without changing the whole model to some of the gimmicks like a growth operator or a growth creator or whatever fancy name someone's made up. What I'm actually going to go through is 3 proven strategies that we have actually discovered by working with over 200 clients over the past 9 to 12 months. The good news is that this is all based on data. So this is not something that we've, cooked up by, writing lots of notes or using ChatGPT or whatever. This is actually what is working right now in the agency space. Now, if you're new and you haven't started an agency yet, this is going to point you in the right direction so that you can spend time on things that are actually going to make you money. And if you already have an agency, this is going to give you some really valuable ideas as to how you position things, especially going into 2025. And so we've worked with agencies across the UK, Canada, US, New Zealand, Australia, and we noticed a very, very interesting trend across these agencies as we've worked with them over the last several months. Now, the first thing that we found that is super, super critical, that is a fairly controversial thing because everybody says differently to this, but the numbers don't lie. You know how the saying goes, men and women lie, but numbers don't. The numbers literally don't lie. The first and most important thing is making sure that you tap the right audience, okay? So tapping the right audience is super, super critical. So if you tap an audience or try and work with an audience that is already fairly saturated and there's too many agencies hassling those people, the cost to get a client in that industry is going to be so much harder. And sure, people say, just make your offer better. And you can just make your offer better. That's true. But the thing is, it's still a losing game because you're really targeting an audience that is just got too much competition. And so if you're starting out, an easy win is to try and discover an audience that is relatively untapped. Now, I'm going to give you a really clear strategy to actually find these audiences. Now, a lot of people tend to go down the route of doing cold email, cold SMS, all this cold outreach stuff. And outreach is fine, but it's extremely inefficient. So an easy strategy that you can use to find an untapped audience is to run a broad offer. Now, a broad offer is where you come up with a simple proposition, okay, or a simple promise, and then you run a very simple Facebook ad campaign, which presents that promise to audiences in different industries. So you don't target a specific industry, you go broad-based and work with a bunch of different industries. So I'm going to splice over to the screen and just take you through exactly how you can put together this strategy. So what you want to do, let me just quickly change the display here a little bit. So what you want to do is you head into Ads Manager. And if you've never used Ads Manager, I will link you to a Facebook ads training that I can recommend to you. So in the Ads Manager, basically the way that you want to structure this is you want to find an audience that isn't super, super targeted. And again, the reason is you want to target a broad-based audience. So what you do is I would run a simple lead form campaign like this. So you go leads, do manual leads campaign always. Typically, as a general rule, guys, you want to not do what Facebook tells you to do. You want to do something differently because they'll always try and extract more money out of you. I would turn advanced campaign budget off or advantage campaign budget off. Now, I would go with the audience something like this. So I would target the country that you're in. One thing that I've always found is that you don't want to target, everyone wants to target the US, but the US is very, very saturated. Literally the cost to acquire a new client or cost per acquisition for a client in the US is a lot harder than other countries like New Zealand or Canada or whatever. So I would target that. Then I would have a single interest campaign. So I would turn advantage audience off. It just doesn't work. I was just a quick story. I was running a campaign. I was doing media buying for a big agency that was spending $2,000, $3,000 per day on ads in like per client. And they never used Advantage Audience because it just doesn't work. Okay. It may work in the future, but as of now, Advantage Audience doesn't work. So I would do something like this. I would do small business as a starting point, as a interest like that. And I'd look at some suggestions. So I'd do maybe startup company, small business, probably those two are fine. And then I'd refine the age to honestly like a 25 to a 55 is probably the best audience that you can select. Now I would do this broad-based audience, okay? Now that's how you set it up in the ads manager without going the whole way through the campaign setup, which I'll provide a link in the description below if you want to know how to run a full campaign from start to finish. I'll give you that info. So let's just go back to here. So once you've got you've selected your broad-based audience in Ads Manager, what you need to really do is come up with a promise, like a promise that makes sense. Okay, so for most people, what they want is appointments. They want leads. They want staff. And then that would be a sort of like a good starting point, or they want sales. So you want to make sure that you come up with a promise that people want, okay? So I would start with guaranteed inquiries. I would start with guaranteed inquiries within a time frame, and just see what type of audiences you get through into the system. Because what you'll find is that people will come through and you'll start to form an idea of, which people, where there is actually demand. Because as a business owner, it behooves you to choose an audience that actually has demand. And this is actually how I started and grew an agency to $10,000 a month in literally a week in early 2020. Is I just ran a broad-based offer, and then I figured out who and where the demand is, and then I zoned in on those particular niches. Now, just a quick note on niches. A lot of people preach choosing a niche. Now, the reason that you want to choose a niche is because it makes fulfillment copy-paste, right? And when you're at kind of like the 10K level, like you can up until 10K, so before you reach 10K, you can do a lot of things for a lot of people. So if you're at 0 to 10K, you can offer stuff like, ads, SEO, content, setting, stuff like that. But as you go from 10K to 50K, you really need to zone down and choose like either one audience that you work with and one offer. And the reason you're able to do that is it's much more scalable because your fulfillment is much more copy-paste. So it's important that you have that copy-paste fulfillment. Okay, so that's the first secret covered, is do a broad-based offer and start with a very big promise. So another really good concept that is important when you're coming up with your marketing and your advertising is you want to come up with a promise that is as big as you can possibly get until it's almost unbelievable, and then figure out how you're going to fulfill on it. Now, once you figured out the promise that sounds really enticing and you figured out fulfillment, then run that campaign hard. Okay, so the second thing that is going to help you really stand out in 2025 is using an AI element to your service, okay? Now, despite what people say, just saying you do AI is not gonna make a difference. So if you put AI in your ad, it will make a difference. You will get a better cost per result, but you need to be able to have an AI element in your fulfillment that actually provides value. So we were talking with an agency owner early this week who said, I have an AI bot that can create hundreds of lead magnets. Now, the thing is, cool, lead magnets are fine. If you don't know what a lead magnet is, a lead magnet is basically a book or a report or a PDF that you put value in as a way to build up your credibility with the lead in the hopes that eventually they'll close. Gym Launch uses lead magnets. Alex Hormozy uses lead magnets. King Kong, Sabri Subi uses lead magnets. A lot of reputable marketing people use lead magnets, and they're good. They work, okay? But in this instance of this person having AI create hundreds of lead magnets, there isn't really a value in leveraging AI to create lots of lead magnets, because you don't need hundreds of lead magnets. You really only need one or two really good lead magnets every year, or maybe once a month at max. So what you want to do with your AI is actually create an AI solution that really solves a problem that people have. So the problem could be content. The problem could be cold calling. The problem could be video editing, right? And then use that element in your pitch. So you explain, because a lot of people want to use AI because it makes them feel like they're not missing out. So a big part of the AI thing is FOMO. So people have fear of missing out. But what you've got to do is don't just slap AI onto your content, actually have an AI solution that works. So we've got a guy that's crushing in our incubator who is selling an AI solution for a very specific niche that solves a very specific problem. So don't bother just slapping on AI. Have a AI solution that really makes a difference. And so it makes sense. So it could be scaled outreach. It could be a creative testing system where you test lots of creative for e-commerce brands or whatever, or AI email or AI research. There's got to be something that has a tangible solution that people actually want. So that's the second thing. If you do add an AI element into your content, into your offer, it's going to make a big difference. Okay, now the third thing that you should do in 2025 is work on your Instagram account. Now, a lot of you guys know that it's no secret that Instagram is a really powerful tool, but still, I know a lot of newbies don't use Instagram. Now, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Instagram is so powerful. Number 1, it gives you a Google footprint. Now, literally, if you go on Google and you search your name, it will actually show not just the content on your Instagram, but it will actually play any reels that you have on your... So check that out. This is my Instagram. It's actually playing the reels on the Google, right? On Google. So when people Google you, it actually plays the reels live. So if you have really good content on your Instagram and people Google you and it demonstrates value, that's going to make a big difference because they can see that you practice what you preach. And so if you're thinking about doing Instagram, just start now. Start posting content, start doing selfie videos, start posting quotes, start posting carousels. If you guys want Instagram scheduler, so we've actually got an Instagram content kind of system where it gives you ideas, templates, and tools that you can use to post content, create it, post it, and make it seamless so that you can actually start building up a lot of your credibility on your profile. Comment Instagram below and I'll send you that template. So back to the content. So Instagram creates a really powerful Google footprint for you. The second thing, it builds trust. Okay, it builds trust, especially if you use selfie videos. Now, I know a lot of people don't like doing videos, which is fine. But honestly, if you're going to hop on a sales call with somebody and they've seen your content on Instagram already, there's a lot of trust already there. So it's a really simple way to build trust. Now, the last thing, it allows you to post social proof. So the most efficient way to show people that you've got clients getting results is post your results on Instagram as a reel, and it will show it on your Google footprint. So if people, again, Google your brand, Google your name, it'll actually show the case studies on the first page of Google. So you don't need to run Google ads. You don't need to run SEO because it's already here. So, with the Google footprint, building trust and building social proof, having an Instagram account is going to be a game changer. So guys, there are 3 things that we found across the last 200 clients that we've worked with. that has made a huge difference. For instance, we had Caleb, who signed 7 new clients. I think it was 5 new clients in his first month, 2 in his second month. We have Angus, who's closing deals on AI, 5K deals twice a week. We have Andre, who's scaled up to above 20K per month and was struggling with figuring out an acquisition system that actually worked for him. So if you guys do want help with that, there's a link in the description below. You can schedule a time to chat with our team. Hopefully that was valuable to you guys. I know I've been a little bit quiet on the tube for the past month, but with that in mind, thank you guys for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.